Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and we are starting a new game series today, a new campaign for the channel. We have previously run a 5 Parsecs From Home campaign. We did 10 missions, and I'm going to give this a bit of a break so I can move on to this one. They're by the same author. They're both by Ivan Sorensen, and they're both by Nordic Weasel. And Modifius has basically taken his game and blinged it, given it a bit of bling, and also to increase the audience and to increase the market. And they've done a wonderful job, just like with 5 Parsecs. I think this was the second edition, 5 Parsecs. And as you can see in my previous videos, it is an amazing game. It's a solo adventure game where a lot of the time you are creating this campaign, this story. You're living the lives of the crew, seeing what they do, as well as fighting tabletop battles. You're rolling to see the injuries, the tasks, the gambling, the searching for resources and equipment, the starship events when you're traveling, different planets. You've got all this, I suppose you could say, RPG-ness to the game. And I had a really wonderful time with 5 Parsecs. Now, 5 Leagues From The Borderlands is the fantasy version, but it is not a simple fantasy skin of this 5 Parsecs game. It is not a simple reskin, or I'm not sure which one came first actually, because this is 3rd edition. 5 Leagues has been out for a long time. I actually bought the 2nd edition but didn't get it printed because after I purchased the 2nd edition, I heard rumors that the 3rd edition was coming out in the near future, so I didn't actually print or play 2nd edition. So I have to double check. But I'm not sure which one came first, but they're in this 5 Things series from Nordic Weasel. You got 5 Parsecs, you got 5 Leagues, you got 5 Clicks from the Zone, you got, I think, 5 Men at Kursk, and they're very, very similar in how they play. But, and this is important for you guys to know, they are not exactly the same, just with different themes. No. They have the same core, or the same foundation in terms of the rules. But there is quite a lot of differences, to be very honest with you. I had a lot of fun with 5 Parsecs. I still make mistakes with the rules. As you watch my videos, you'll see me, during editing, I'll put up little notes saying, "Oi, you're an idiot, you got this wrong. This is the correct way." So that's what I've been doing with this. Now here's the thing. 5 Leagues, it's like the big brother of 5 Parsecs. It's more. That's the best way I can describe it. It's more. There are more rules. There are more steps that you need to do. There is a bit more complexity in how you play the game and how you do things. For example, like combat. In 5 Parsecs, combat is actually very, very simple. In 5 Leagues, there's a bit more to it. There's a bit more depth to how you actually do combat and run games in 5 Leagues. Also, in terms of the campaign system, 5 Parsecs, once you've done it a couple of times, it's actually fairly easy. You have the pre-battle rolls, you have the battles, and then you have the post-battle rolls. Well, kind of similar with this, but it's much more depth. You have to create your own region or your map. Sorry, I don't know whether you can hear that. There's a lorry reversing down my road for some reason. There's beep, 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 beep. Okay, try to ignore that if you can. Yeah, you have to create your own region or your own part of your fantasy world in which you're going to be adventuring. So you have to create a map, and in this game, it gives you the rules and the way that you can find out how many settlements, unknown locations, dungeons, enemy camps. There's all these things you need to do that you didn't have to do in 5 parsecs. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Well, it's a good thing. It makes the game so much more. But it's also a bad thing because I've read this. How many times have I read this rulebook now? 5 times? And I'm still getting mixed up with 5 parsecs. I'm still forgetting things. And I will be when I'm playing the games. Again, I'll try to catch as much as I can in the edit. But let me know in the comments if I do make mistakes. I think if you've played 5 parsecs, there's going to be good and bad things. Good thing is you can transfer to this by adapting your knowledge and basically adding to it. But the bad thing is, at times, I know that I'm going to make this mistake because I'm just bloody old, but I know that I'm going to make mistakes because I know there's going to be times when I do, as I'm playing 5 leagues, I'm going to be doing the 5 parsecs thing instead of 5 leagues thing. But anyway, it looks wonderful. We are going to play this together. We're going to go through the rules very quickly now. There are other videos on YouTube which go through the rules in a bit more depth. Cement Saul, I think, is one that does a very good job of explaining the intricacies of all the rules. So I'll leave that to them. I'll just give a quick overview. And then we're going to create our first warband. But yeah, like I say, on first view, it's a very, very, very nice game. The book, okay, at the time of recording, you can only get the PDF. This is the PDF that I printed out. You can only get this if you pre-order the book. Now, the book is actually out soon. I don't know whether by the time that this reaches, that I actually publish this video on YouTube, whether the book has actually been released. It's actually due in June. So it should be out very, very soon, the physical book and the PDF general release. But if you pre-ordered the book, you can get the PDF now. The book is, oh God, how many pages is the book? It's about 230 pages. 5 parsecs was about 180, I think, or 160. So it's a bit of a bigger book, but it is beautifully produced. And like I say, I have had a ton of fun with 5 parsecs, and I don't expect any less from this, as long as I can remember all the rules. Okay, so I've also printed out a few cheat sheets or help sheets. So I have the quick reference. Oh, sorry, this isn't the quick reference. Where's the quick reference? Okay, so here's the quick reference that I've already printed out on a sheet of cardstock. I've also printed out the pages with the spells, just as a quick reference from me, so I don't have to write, all the details of the spells on the character sheets. Speaking of which, this is your warband roster sheet. So what I'll be doing is that I'll be creating the warband now, but I'll be writing it down and creating it on just a sheet of A4 here, and then I'll be transferring the details from here onto the roster sheet. There is also a campaign sheet which gives you information regarding the actual campaign itself. Hidden locations, quest notes, friends, adventure points, delve notes. Delves are basically the dungeons that you can find. Yes, there's dungeons. So yeah, that's what we're looking at here. And this is actually, again, I've printed this out on a piece of card as a reference for me. But this is basically the campaign flowchart. So you have the preparation stage. This is like the pre-battle stuff with all the things you need to do. And then you move to the adventuring stage and you decide exactly what you want to do, whether you want to ride a patrol or explore a location or do a fight, a big battle or something, or contract, whatever. And then on the map, you may have to travel to different locations. And then you fight the battle, obviously. And then there's a resolution stage. This is the post-battle stage. So this is just a very simple but very, very well-designed flowchart to help you to follow your way through each campaign turn. Now again, I might limit this to maybe 10 campaign turns and then see if I want to continue, or like I say, maybe go back to 5 parsecs for another campaign, or maybe move to another game, or maybe continue this. I don't know. But at the moment, maybe I'll do 10 turns for this again. Hopefully it won't be as intermittent. I mean, the 5 Parsec series took me a long time to do 10 turns because I had a lot of prep work to do in between each battle, sourcing figures, painting figures, building terrain, etc., etc. I'm hoping this won't take so long, but we will see. So yeah, in terms of the rules, yeah, it's a bit deeper. There are some things which are a bit more, I don't know whether I'd say complex, just deeper, more steps, more things you need to do. For example, in combat, melee combat in 5 Parsecs is very simple. You roll d6, compare. In 5 Leagues, melee is actually a 3-step process, and every step is very different. Like I said, I'm not going to explain all the rules here. You can go and see Cement Saul's video for that. But let's have a look and see in terms of the warband. Now, you will be creating a warband. I think it's 6. They recommend 6 characters to begin with, 4 heroes and 2 followers. Followers have certain restrictions. There are weapons that they can't use, and heroes are kind of your main bods, your main members. One of the heroes you need to assign as your avatar, and this will kind of represent you in the campaign. And again, they'll have some small bonuses assigned to them. You need to try to make sure your avatar doesn't die, because if they die, you can't create another avatar until you start another campaign. So think carefully. Now, they do give a lot of these little boxes where they can give you like optional rules, things that you can do if you want to. So for example, here, if you want to have a bigger warband, you can increase to 7 or 8 figures if you want. Now, you will be getting, well, I shouldn't say will, because the game does look very dangerous, and it looks a lot easier to die in this than in 5 Parsecs. But you could increase the size of your warband as you play, so you could recruit more members. But when you're actually fighting the battles or the encounters, normally you set a limit. So like I say, they recommend 6 figures. So even though you may have 10 warband members or 10 people in your warband, when you're doing a battle, if you're kind of following the basic rules or recommendations, you're basically bringing 6 to the fight. The other 4 are kind of doing their own thing. There are different ways of creating a warband. You can choose what you want based on your miniatures collection. You can select the figures that you want to use. So if you've got an amazing, if you have an amazing half-orc figure, for example, you could actually choose to have that in your warband rather than just rolling, which is another way you can roll randomly. Which of course is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be rolling my warband randomly and just hope that I have the figures. I think the hardest one that I'm going to find is Preen. Preen they're like birdmen. Like what are they in? I think in Japanese mythology they're called Kenku. I think in D&D they're Aroka. But another thing that I love about this game is that the races and even the enemies are not fixed to one type. Okay, human, yeah. Feyblood is one of the options, and Feyblood, it sounds like elves, but they could be something else. If you have a certain collection of miniatures that represents something which is kind of exotic, slight, woodland-based, you could use Feyblood to represent those figures. It doesn't have to be elves, even though they say kind of fairies and elves. You could use this character type as something completely different. Dusklings, another character or race type, is very general in its description. It says here, creatures of the shadows rather than creatures of the sun. They're stalwart warriors, commonly seen as invaders, raiders, or adventurers. Now, some people are reading this and thinking, ooh, I could use my dwarfs for this. or I can use orcs for this. So there is this flexibility in the design. I really do like that. The fact that you're not saying, okay, orcs, elves. They do allow you, and Ivan, with his design, has allowed you to have that. There is a certain amount of flexibility in your character choice and your miniature choice. Now, in a Facebook post, I did actually put up a picture of all my Rackham figures, and I kind of went, oh, I've got too many of these. I'm going to try to use as much Rackham figures as I can, the old confrontation figures, both for the party and for my enemies. I'm not going to be able to use them all the time because in confrontation we didn't necessarily have a lot of the same kind of figures. We may have just had like 3 of each type kind of thing. So I may not have enough of a certain type of figure to be certain enemies, but I'll do what I can. So yeah, we are going to create our warband. Creatures or characters will normally have a basic profile, agility 1, speed of 4/+3, combat skill of +0, and toughness of 3. Now, this is one thing that I don't get. In 5 Parsecs, we had a stat called reactions, which basically determined when you acted in the turn. For some reason, Ivan has used a different name for it in 5 Leagues. He's called it agility. I don't know why he couldn't just use the same name. It's the same thing. Speed. Okay, speed is a little bit different from 5 Parsecs. In 5 Parsecs, one of your actions that you can take is to basically dash, where you'd move your normal move, and if you wanted to dash, you'd move an extra like 2 inches or whatever. In 5 Leagues, you have a movement speed and a dash speed. So if you do decide to dash, then you'll be dashing this value, which is on the right-hand side. And this is one of the things where I say that the game is deeper. It takes the basics that you find in 5 Parsecs and just adds more to it. So here they've taken the basic dash mechanic, but given it a little bit more depth, a bit more rules in terms of how to use it. So you may have different characters with different dash abilities. Combat skill and toughness are basically the same. However, in this game, armor works very differently. In 5 Parsecs, armor is basically, it gives you a saving throw. In this game, when you're in melee and when you're shooting, you have to overcome the armor first, and then you have to overcome the toughness. So that's actually a different thing in 5 Leagues compared to 5 Parsecs. You can have one spellcaster in your warband, only one. And one thing to note, I think this is deliberate. I think Ivan mentioned that this was a deliberate part of the design. Your spells are not direct damage to the opponents. So there's no fireballs or lightning strikes. They're more things for support or maybe to hinder the enemy, like preventing the use of maybe one of their abilities, or maybe doing things like rolling more morale dice to see if they run away, or trying to get rid of poison on your characters and things like that. So, and then again, he said, I think Ivan mentioned that this was deliberate on his part, that there were no actual direct damage spells, which again I think is a good thing, because sometimes magic users with their fireballs and lightning strikes can kind of dominate the game. So I think that's a good thing. And like I say, I printed this out as a reference for me while I'm playing the game, so I don't have to write too much down on the sheets. All right, so yeah, in the game you basically have this warband, and they're going out and they're doing these encounters and missions, and in the campaign you have to do things like tasks and injury recovery and finding friends, and there's a lot of things you can do. You get experience, you can learn new skills, you can find better weapons, you can find magic weapons if you're lucky. You can come up against monsters, dungeons. There's so much in this game. It's absolutely unbelievable. And like I say, I don't want to spend an hour going through all the rules. Let us learn the rules as we play the series. So as we go through, like for example, I think in the next video, I'm going to be creating the region and the settlements and determining the threats, the enemies that I'm going to be finding. So let's do it step by step. I don't want to do everything in one go. So what we're going to be looking at today, we've just had a very quick overview. What I want to do now is create my warband and see if I have the figures. And like I said, I'm going to try to use as much of my Rackham figures, my confrontation figures as I can. Because I have so many of them. I have got so many Rackham figures, it's unbelievable. This is my Rackham folder, my confrontation folder, and this, I don't know if you're aware of the old Rackham figures, but they used to come with an army card. Yeah, so when you bought the figure in the blister pack, you actually got the card for use in the game. So yeah, these are okay. Those are from a different game, but basically, I went a little bit crazy with. I went a little bit crazy with my confrontation purchases. And like I say, I have a lot of miniatures and most of them aren't painted. So I'm going to try and use 5 Leagues from the Borderlands as some kind of stimulus to get my Rackham figures painted. Or at least some of them anyway. Right, let us go start creating our warband. All right, just made a little bit of an addition to the A4 sheet I've got here. So I'm going to be creating 4 heroes and there are 2 followers. Now the followers have to be human, unless I don't know. Like I say, the game's flexible. If you want to make them something different, for example, if you want to make a warband full of halflings, go for it. In which case the followers could be halflings as well. It's a solo game, no one's going to stop you. I mean, you can play it co-op, where one person takes over certain characters, the other player takes over certain characters. You know, you can do co-op, but it's designed mainly as a solo game. So do what you want. Gold marks, this is going to be the currency. It is a shared resource. So if I roll up gold marks when I'm creating the characters, it goes into like one big sort of kitty. Story points are pretty much the same as 5 parsecs. You basically use them to re-roll and to give you certain benefits. Adventure points are used to further the campaign, to kind of uncover hidden locations, to see what the enemy's doing, to basically move the campaign forwards. And these you can pick up as you play games, but there is a chance that you'll get them during character creation as well. So let's do the 2 followers first because they're extremely simple to do. Let's put something there to make it easier to go back. Right. Now followers are generic, soldiers, adventurers, whatever, that are helping you out. They start with the same basic profile, but they don't get much in terms of advancements to start with. Also, as they gain experience, they're a lot more limited in terms of what they can get with their experience points and stuff like that. I think there is a way for you to improve them to become heroes later. But yeah, I wouldn't hold out for these guys too much to begin with. Okay, for character creation, you're basically rolling on this table to see what they are, but this is just a title. It doesn't give them any benefits. For example, if I rolled up a soldier, he doesn't get any skills that makes him a better soldier. These are just titles, basically. Also, there are restrictions in terms of the weapons they can use. So, like I say, these are kind of mini heroes. Right, so the first follower is 01. Yeah, always blue first, yeah? An aspiring scholar. Okay. So he's got an excuse for being shit in combat. The second one is a 00, a wily rogue. But again, they don't get any skills, that's the thing. They don't get, like, this guy doesn't get an ability to read scrolls or anything. This guy doesn't have a pickpockets or anything like that. It's just a title that they go by. But in terms of role playing, maybe later when I select skills and stuff, if they do get skills, maybe this could help me in terms of the story, determine what skills to choose from them, to kind of role play the characters. Right, now we come to the fun part, the heroes themselves. Let's go back to here. All right, now I'm going to be rolling 4 random characters for my warband, for my heroes. Blue is always first. Right, let's see what we get. 59 is a Duskling. Okay. Second one is 35 human. Okay. Third one, 84 halfling. And 34 human. So I'm going to have 4 humans, a Duskling, and a Halfling. Halflings don't exist in confrontation, so I'll have to use another figure. I'll have to use another manufacturer for my Halfling. Okay, for the Dusklings, I'm actually planning to use the Rackham Droons, kind of like the evil Celts. So okay, that could work. 4 humans. Again, I don't actually have a lot of fantasy humans. I tended to go for the other races when I was playing fantasy games. Okay. All right. Okay, this could work. Now, I think I'll make one of the humans. I'll make one of the humans my avatar and a mystic. So I'm gonna make this guy my avatar and the mystic. It's a mystic. God, spelling mystic. I'll write it better on the character sheet. All right, so let's have a look. Humans. Okay, for background options, let's move this over a little bit so we can see a little bit better. All right, humans. Okay, well the mystic has to choose on the mystic background. The other human, townsfolk, noble, frontier, or zealot. Noble, I could get a chance of more armor. Do I have noble figures for humans? Trying to think of the miniatures that I've got. Yeah, let's make him a noble in terms of background. Okay, all humans add +1 to speech tests. Humans are the only characters that can ever get more than 1 point of will. Will points are basically points that you can use to give you benefits during the game. Additional move, acting faster, getting rid of stunned, bonuses to proficiency tests. I mean, these are extremely useful. They get regenerated every game, every battle. They kind of come back, kind of thing. They get regenerated. So they're very, very useful. And humans are the only ones who can get more than 1. So having a couple of humans could be very useful for that. Okay, if they get a will increase when earning an advancement, they also get 2 experience points. Okay, but that's it. I mean, humans are pretty basic in terms of what they can do, like in a lot of games. What else we've got? Duskling. They must select the outsider. Okay, like I say, I'm planning on using my Rackham Droon figures for these. Okay, they add +1 to traveling tests. Actually, should I write all this down? I think so. So human get +1 to speech tests. And again here, +1 to speech tests. Dusklings get +1 to traveling tests. Okay, so these are proficiency tests. If you have the actual skill, you get a +2. But if they don't have the skill, you get, like I say, all humans get a +1 to speech tests, even if they don't have the skill. Humans also have that will special rule. Okay. Duskling, okay, yes. Brute charge. A popular dusting tactic gets a charge, hitting the enemy with built-up rage. When moving into melee, the following rules apply. They cannot parry. They may choose to re-roll their die in the first exchange. Oh, so they're kind of like carrying. They're kind of like carrying in the bloody 5 parsecs. A little bit nut jobs. All right, so they've got brute charge. I will make notes about all these special rules somewhere on here. I'll probably put the special rules here to help me remember. Oath of Life. Despite or perhaps because of their warlike ways, Dusklings are infused with a furious hatred of all things that will not stay dead. In melee against undead, Dusklings receive the counterattack ability. Ooh, that could be very useful because I am thinking for one of my threats, for one of my enemy types, I am thinking of using the undead. So that could be extremely useful. So Oath of Life. Okay, sweet. Again, I'll put all this more information on I'll put more details down here later. All right, also distrust. Dusklings have an intense distrust of anything mystical. Dusklings cannot have spells cast on, again, sounds like barbarians, yeah? They cannot have spells cast on them by other members, as they will never allow it. Additionally, they may carry only a single magic item at any time. If they find an item during a battle, they may pick it up, but must reorganize their equipment after the encounter. Okay, so I'll put here, I'll put distrust magic. It sounds a bit clearer instead of just put distrust. Distrust could mean anything, but distrust magic kind of makes it a little bit clearer. Okay, and he's an outsider. So we're going to have to roll for the backgrounds in a second. What else do we have? Got a halfling. Short and stout. Halflings have lived among or near humanity as long as either can remember and are often among the most stubborn protectors of its institutions and domains. All right, here's the thing. When I was reading this and I was thinking about using my Rackham figures, I was kind of thinking to kind of replace certain, again here you can see some notes I made in terms of the figures that I was planning to use. So for example, like for the humans, maybe Celt, maybe Griffin, maybe the Order of Hod for the Griffins, or maybe some Archvillain or Bestiarum figures. For the Feyblood, I was thinking about Daikini, but I don't have a huge amount of Daikini. But maybe I'll use them for the characters. Also maybe the Impure, the Devourer Half-Elves, or maybe Raging Heroes. Duskling, again here you can see I was thinking about using Drones. Preen, okay, here's the thing. For the Preen, they don't exactly fit in the Confrontation universe, so I don't have any figures that represent Preen. So I was thinking maybe of changing that to the Dwarf test rules and using the Turnabor Dwarf figures. And again here, Halfling. In Confrontation, we don't have Halfling figures. So I was thinking maybe to replace it with the Goblins, because then I could use my Rackham Goblin figures. And again here, Feral, Wolfen. And again here, just some notes. Do a full Arclash campaign, as in the world of Confrontation and Rackham, or just use the models whenever possible. So I'm thinking, because I don't have a huge amount of human figures, that's the thing. Should I use a Halfling, or should I use what I was thinking and change it to a Goblin? I mean, I could still use the basic rules here. I could basically just use a different name and use a different figure. So I'd be using the skill expertise, the lucky shot, the slip away, lacking strength, but I'd just be using a Goblin figure instead of a Halfling figure. I'll think about that, because I think I don't have a lot of Halfling figures. I think I've only got like 2 figures in my entire collection, and I've got thousands and thousands of figures. I think I've got a Heresy Halfling. Maybe. Or, like I say, maybe I'll change it to Goblin and use a a Rackham Goblin instead. But I'm going to be using the same rules, so it's just a appearance thing. All right, so Halfling must select the Frontier background. Okay, Frontier. What do they get? They get +1 to Wilderness. +1. That could come in useful when I'm not in a settlement. This is another thing. In the game it talks about towns quite a lot. But in terms of settlements, there are 3 kinds. You've got hamlets, villages and towns. But I think Ivan uses the word town to represent all of them at times. I don't know why they didn't use the word settlement to represent all of them. Because town is one type of settlement that are being used. It's a bit confusing when sometimes you refer to all of them as towns as well. Maybe just using the word settlement would have been better. I don't know, what do I know? All right, so Halflings get +1 to Wilderness, can be very useful when I'm not in a settlement. Lucky Shot, whether because of Halflings' good eyesight or the general petty luck that seems to bless them, blah, blah, blah. When shooting, Halflings hit a target that is concealed or in cover on a 5+. Yeah. So this is another little change to 5 parsecs in terms of rolling to hit. It's a little bit different. Within weapon range and concealed or behind cover is a 6+. It's kind of the same as 5 parsecs, but not exactly. But instead of a 6+, Halflings will be rolling a 5+ to hit. That could be extremely useful. So he may get one of my ranged weapons. He can't use a longbow, but he can use a crossbow. Okay, I'm not gonna argue with that. All right, so they've got Lucky Shot. Again, I'll be writing all the details on the character sheet later. So he's got Lucky Shot. Slip away. Halflings are especially well suited to escape a battle that's gone poorly. Halflings never have to roll on the flight in the dark table. Again, this is another thing which makes this game a little bit deeper. If you, during a battle, basically retreat your figures off the battlefield or run away, you have to roll. They may actually get hurt when they run away. Maybe they get caught or something, you know what I mean? So these guys never have to roll on that. So they can always get away easily. Oh, nice. But I don't know whether this you have to randomly roll which of them gets hurt or whether they all get rolled. Okay, slip away. Nice. Lacking strength. Some heavy weapons are simply, can't use warhammers, bastard swords or longbows. Okay. Lacking strength. And like I say, the followers don't get any of it. I don't think they get any of this. Do they get the human? Do they get the human ability? Doesn't say, does it? So I'm assuming that they don't. I'm assuming that they don't get that +1 speech that normal humans get. I'm assuming. Again, put down in the comments if I'm wrong. Yeah, I'll do equipment and stuff later. Okay. All right. So we have our basic characters and we've got a little bit of information about them. So for backgrounds, we've got to select the backgrounds and then roll D20. Oh, okay. I need to get a D20. All right. Got myself my old and trusted D20. Right. So we have to roll on the backgrounds. We have to roll for each of the relevant subtables. All right, so these are the backgrounds, the different backgrounds. You've got Frontier, Mystic, Noble, Outsider, Townsfolk, and Zealot. And each of these has 4 subtables that you have to roll on. You've got your basic background, you've got your mentality, capabilities, mentality, possessions, and training. So you roll on each of these, so you're basically getting 4 things for each character, right? Let's start with the Duskling. The Duskling is an outsider. So we're going to be rolling on here. Right, so for the capabilities, we get D20, we roll a 1. Agility increase. So I get +1 agility. So again, in 5 parsecs, this was reactions. It basically determines when you go in the turn, whether you go in the fast phase or the slow phase. So getting a +1 agility is definitely something useful. Although These would have been a lot more useful. These give you a double boost, look, agility and combat skill, speed and combat skill. So I need to roll high, not low. Come on, dice. All right, so he gets a +1 agility for his capability. Mentality, +1 will and +1 luck would be very nice. Luck, okay, so will is basically, like I say, you can get certain benefits when you use these. Luck are things that basically can stop you from dying. You use these points to basically stop yourself when you get injured and die. So again, luck is very good as well. XP, meh. I'm not so excited about XP, but look, that's going to be the main bloody thing. Look, 3 to 16. All right, mentality, we get a 17 +1 luck. Okay, +1 luck. Okay, nice. Possessions. Okay, gold marks go into the Warband kitty. Weapons can also be, I think, again, weapons don't have to be assigned to the character that rolled them up. They can be basically moved around, whatever. So let's see what we get for possessions. We get an 8, 2 gold marks. Okay, so we get 2 gold marks. And for training, actually, I'll write it down here as well. 2 gold. And we get an 8 for training, +1 XP. Meh. +1 XP. Okay. Next, okay, so my avatar, the guy that's kind of going to represent me, I said is going to be a mystic. So there is a set mystic background. I've got no choice. If I choose the mystic class, I have to choose the mystic background. All right, so capabilities, we get a 9 casting increase, +1 casting. So yeah, this is another skill that mystics get and nobody else gets, the ability to cast spells. Bop, bop, bop. So basically every spell has a target number to cast properly. You will be adding your casting ability to your roll. I think it's a 2d6. And this is like the target number for it to work. So having a +1 casting is going to be very useful. So, okay, +1 casting, mentality. We get an 8, +1 will. Possessions, a 3, 1 gold mark. So now we got 3 in the kitty. And then training, and 19. Oh God. Now I wanted to roll low. Typically when I want low, I get high. +1 XP. Okay. Okay. Now we have the halfling, which is frontier. Okay, capability. We get a 15 for capability. 15 toughness increased. Ooh. +1 toughness. Okay. Mentality. 7 XP. Possessions. 2 gold marks. And training. 2. 1 skill. I should roll that up now before I forget. Where's the skills? Okay, so skills, you roll percentage. Yeah, roll once, okay. We get 53, which is scholar. Doesn't make much sense. We get scholar. Meh. All right. So that was the halfling done. Now we have our last hero, which is our noble. I'm hoping to get more armor, to be honest. All right, capability. We got a 7 combat skill increase, +1 combat skill. Okay, mentality. We get a 16. Oh, God. Possessions, a 9. Quality weapon. And training. 17. Oh, God. Right, quality weapon. Quality weapon. I think I left my bookmark at the bloody items. I think I left a bookmark at the items. Points, equipment. Right, equipment. So, quality weapon. Select one from bastard sword, crossbow, fencing sword, longbow, throwing knives, warhammer, or war spear. Now, a bastard sword would give. Okay, again, this is another thing that's different from 5 parsecs. When you're kind of rolling to hit, you use your combat skill. If you hit, you've then got to overcome armor and then overcome toughness. So when you look at weapons, they have these 2 values here. The first one is to overcome armor. So things like the crossbow, the warhammer, get a +1 to overcome armor. But when you're overcoming toughness to kind of kill the guy, the bastard sword gets a +1. Crossbow, fencing sword gives parry, useful. Throwing knives, warhammer, war spear, counter attack. War spear sounds decent. Might go for the war spear, I think. Or should I go for the bastard sword? Or warhammer. See, I'm also trying to think in terms of the figures that I've got. A noble with a war spear. A noble, I mean a bastard sword kind of makes more sense. But I like the idea of counter attack or parry. Which one? Which one? Don't really want a ranged. I think a melee weapon would probably be better, I think. I'm thinking bastards. They're all nice. I want one of each. Trying to think, like I say, I'm trying to think the miniatures that I have. I don't have a huge amount of humans, that's the thing. Do I have, I mean, I could always give the quality weapon to somebody else. Maybe to the Duskling, but he can't parry, so there's no good giving him a fencing sword. I'll think about that. I'm gonna transfer all the information onto here. I'm gonna give them all names, and I'll do that. I'll do that after this, I think. So I think I'll select the weapon afterwards as well. I need to check my figures and see which ones I have, but okay, quality weapon, not bad. So that's that done. I didn't get any items at all. That's Alright, what else do we get? So we get the following items. We get 2 quality weapons and 2 basic weapons assigned to... Oh, okay, so I can get 3 quality weapons. Oh, that might make it a bit easier. I could take 1 warhammer, 1 bastard sword, 1 war spear, or fencing sword. Okay, that's sweet. So I get quality weapons. So I'm getting 3 of those. Cross that off so I don't duplicate it. 2 basic weapons. Okay. Now these are for heroes. Okay. No more than 2 heroes may be given a ranged weapon. Now the thing is, I think one of these has to be a ranged weapon because I can only make 1 follower have it as well. Armor. We get partial armor. 2. We get light armor. 2. 1 helmet and 1 shield. And again, these are for heroes. Optionally, you may put 1 hero in no armor and upgrade a suit of partial to full. No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That ain't going to bloody happen. All right, for the followers, maybe armed with either a standard weapon or a staff. Now, I think staffs are actually quite useful. Let me have a look and see. Staffs get a -1 versus armor, but they have parry. Or I could just give them a standard weapon, which is 0/0. If you do not have 2 ranged weapon equipped heroes, 1 follower may opt to take a self bow and light weapon instead. Well, I'm thinking the halfling will be a ranged, so I can make one of these guys a ranged weapon. So a follower may opt to take a self bow and light weapon. Okay, so this guy I'm going to give a self bow and a light weapon. 1 follower will wear light armor, the rest will wear no armor. So I'm going to give the light armor to the other guy because he's more likely to get into melee. And I'm also going to give him a standard weapon or staff. I mean, here's a scholar. Do I have a figure with a staff? Yeah, I think I'll give him a staff. It fits the thing. In terms of the role, I mean, I like to play these games with a little bit of role playing in mind, you know. So he's an aspiring scholar, so I'm thinking the staff would kind of make more sense with him. A wily rogue, you know, with a bow. I'm kind of thinking like that. Okay. So I'm thinking the basic weapon is going to be a self bow. And a standard weapon. Standard weapons are things like swords, maces, clubs, you know, like axes, you know, your basic weapons. Quality weapons, I'm thinking maybe Warhammer, Bastard Sword and War Spear. I'm thinking. I'll have to think about that. I'll have to think about that. Okay, resources. You begin the campaign with 3 gold marks in addition to any you've created. So 1, 2, 3. So we have 8 gold marks. Okay. You have 2 doses of Silver Tree Leaf. I think this helps with injuries. Silver Tree Leaf. 2 of those. Okay. Spell selection. All right. If you opted to take a mystic character, you may select any 2 spells, then roll 3 times to see what other spells are known. Reroll any duplicates. Okay, so what I'm going to do for the mystic is I'm going to roll the random ones first and see what I get, and then select 2 to sort of supplement those. And we've also got to do the avatar thing. So let's do the spells. Where are the spells? Okay, spells are here. Let me get one of these bookie marksy. Okay. Just to get back there because we still need to do the avatar stuff. All right, spells. So we are going to be rolling percentage. So the 3 spells that are random. Blue first, we get 73. 73 is shadows. Target may immediately move to any location within 4 inches. Can be used to move through impassable obstacles. But both the original and new positions must be visible to the mystic. Ooh, okay. So, mystic. Okay, I'll put here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not enough space. Okay. Spells. Gonna need 5 of these. So shadows. Next one is 39. 39 is fortune. May choose to re-roll all the following if they occur. Ranged attack, melee attack, proficiency. Successful. Okay. Let's got a little asterisk next to it. So we've got fortune. What's the asterisk mean? It's a simple. Oh, it's a simple spell. Doesn't cost strands to cast, though a natural 2 is still expending 1 strand. Yeah, basically to cast spells you need to use this like consumable called strands. You basically start every battle with 3 strands, but you can get more. So the basic thing is you can cast 3 spells per battle because you start with 3 strands. But if you find like congealed strands, which are other strands like items, you can actually cast obviously more. Okay, so fortune is okay. Shadows is not a simple one. Last random one is 56. 56 is manipulate, another simple one. Manipulate. Okay. An item on the ground or in their possession can be moved up to 8 inches. Huh? If moved into contact with a character, they may pick it up immediately without requiring an action roll. And that's of limited use. Meh. All right, and then I've got to pick two more. Weaken could be useful. There's an 8+ to cast, so it's more difficult to cast, but it gets rid of a tough trait on the enemy, so that could be quite useful. Steel break could also be quite useful. What's this? What's this other symbol? Taxing can only be cast once per battle. Okay. Steel break, basically the enemy counts as armor 0. That could also be extremely useful. Fog, explore, frighten, heal, remove a wound. Heal could be useful. Premonition, shield, slow. There's so many. So many useful abilities. I mean, heal would never be a miss. So I think I'm going to take heal. And the second one, thinking shield, steel break, sorry. Illuminate, infuse, explore, mark. There's a lot of spells, and like I say, there's no actual direct like fireball or anything like that, but they're all useful. Some more than others in different situations, obviously. I think I'm gonna go. Steel break will last for a full round. Lasts until the tracking phase of the following battle round. Okay, let's take that steel break. Okay, so I've got my 5 spells: shadows, fortune, manipulate, heal, and steel break. Okay, let's go back to here. That's the spells done for my mystic. Finishing touches. Write down that you have 3 story points. Bonk, bonk, bonk. Select one of your characters to be an avatar. Yes, this guy here, the mystic. So they get +1 will. So that becomes 2 + 2 will, and then +1 luck. Okay. Roll for the history. History's percentage. We get 82. Okay, so this is just something that happened in my past. You came across an old map, but you still have to decipher it. When creating the campaign map, add a delve to the campaign. It begins the game hidden. Right, so history. I rolled 82. So add +1 delve, but it has to be hidden. So I think this is one of the things you can use your adventure points for, is to find these hidden things. So does that mean I start with 2 delves on my map? On the map, do I start with 2 delves? Let me have a look and see. 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 Doesn't say, does it? So you don't automatically start with a... Oh, yeah, it is. Add a delve. Okay. So my map's going to have 2 delves. 2 dungeon types. Okay. Not bad. What else? Done that already. When he dies, don't worry about that. New recruits, don't worry about that. Adding carrier, don't worry about that. And creating the warband is pretty much done. I just need to put all the stats and all the modifications onto here. I need to assign equipment and decide what my 3 quality weapons are. Well, I mean, the self bow is going to go to the halfling. I know that. And that will be the warband done. I've also got to find the figures for the guys as well. All right. I think that will do for this design. I think the warband is done. Yes. I think it's done. So I think that will do for this video, because I've talked for far too long again. I do tend to talk too much. So hopefully this has generated a little bit of interest in the game. Like I say, if you want a better breakdown of the rules in terms of how the game works and stuff, go and see the video on, I think it's Cement Soul website. I'll put a link somewhere. And I have my warband now, so now I have to get the figures ready. So I have to get the figures ready now. Next, in the next video, I am going to move to here, starting and campaign. Now, starting and campaign, we've actually got to set up the region and determine the threats. This is going to be the next video. Creating the region and the map, finding out what's going to be in the region and on the map, and also determine who my enemies are, because you're not going to be fighting completely random things. You can select or roll randomly 3 groups of enemies that you're going to be fighting with. So that's what also we're going to be doing in the next video. So guys, thank you for watching. I do apologize if this has been too long. Again, I tend to talk too much. So I hope you have stuck with me during the video. And join me in the next one as we look at what region we're going to be exploring and fighting gribblers in. I'll try and find the figures. I will try to get them painted up. Maybe do a small video to show my warband, like I did with my 5 parsecs. In my 5 parsec series, the first video was my crew creation, and then I did a very small video just showing the figures and all the information and backgrounds and everything. Maybe I'll do the same thing for my warband before I go into the video on my region, my map, my campaign. And then after that, we'll start fighting some battles and doing some campaign turns. So guys, highly recommend this game. Follow me and join me as we start and do our campaign through whatever region I'm going to create next time. And let's have some fun together, learn the game together, and hopefully survive together. Please take a moment to like and subscribe. I ask this every time. I really would appreciate clicking the little buttons down below, like, subscribe, and also share. Let people know what I'm doing. I have a bunch of other videos that I want to get out. I think there's a couple more solo games that I want to do. I've been asked to do another couple of games. I need to find the time to do those as well. But let's go. 5 Leagues from the Borderlands, highly recommended. Warband is ready. Let us continue. Thanks guys, stay safe. Catch you in the next video. Cheers.